Uh, okay, so let's wait for some people to join us. Before we get started, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna give you an explanation about the forum because on Tuesday I wanted to share this information with you, but there was a problem. Once I wanted to log in, there was no electricity, so I didn't have any chance to contact you. No Wi-Fi, no laptop, no phone, nothing at all. So that was basically what happened last Tuesday. Um, yeah, I'm gonna show you something about the forum, and also I'm gonna give you some instructions because we're about to finish, and it is important that if you didn't do any of the activities, or if you didn't have the time because you were like about to end your courses, your responsibilities, or you were on a holiday, which is completely cool, and I really love it because I wish I could do the same, but I couldn't. And it's all right because I really like my job and working. I was telling you that I forgot. Oh yeah, it's important that you catch up. Okay, it's important that you try to send the information you didn't have the opportunity to share. So I'm gonna tell you how you're gonna do it. In that order, is gonna be easier for you to finish in a satisfactory way our English level B1 plus. Um, let's get started with let's get started with the activities. Okay, so remember that we have 6 activities. Okay, we had the diagnostic test, we have the listening test, we have the speaking activity, which was a video. We had let me think. Yeah, the reading test. Then we had right now we're doing the writing forum, and the last one, number 6, is gonna be the final exam. As you know, 4 of these 6 activities, they are like they have like an automatic score. Okay, so teachers don't need to check that. We check just in case there is something weird or odd that we can fix. For example, you are doing the activity and it suddenly stop working. Some audios are not working. The reading is not opening. The reading link is not opening. Uh, I don't know. For example, what happened to me last Tuesday? No electricity, no internet, no connection. Many things can happen. So in those cases, you have to send me an email telling me about the situation that you had some, I don't know, some trouble logging in or with any kind of circumstance. In that order, I can enable the activity for you again or just correct the mistake. So uh, I noticed that some people were on holiday exactly during the time that the reading test opened or started. I received emails from people asking me for more time or extension of the length of time or the deadline because of the situation of holiday, and I said like it's okay, it's cool. So send me an email. All of that just to say, send me an email. Okay, there is no need to tell me everything, every single detail. Like, I don't know, I was traveling here, I was going there. There is no need for that. You just tell me, please, Nick, I forgot to do this activity. Enable it for me again. That's all. You don't need to explain yourselves. Um, so yeah, it is important that if you forgot to do activities or didn't do them because you didn't have time or so on, as I was telling you before, just send me an email and do it again. Okay. Well, not do it again, do it because time is running, and the idea is that you catch up before we close everything. Okay. So keep it in mind. For the video, some people text me or send me emails and they say I didn't have the chance, or I email some of you because your videos had problems, maybe the link, maybe the audio, many different things. So if you have kind of a situation like this, send me the link. Okay, remember that the instruction was uploaded to YouTube. I have received so many other resources, which is cool, but it's easier when we go through YouTube. Also, ask people to check if it's working. Okay, after that, send it to me. Don't worry about it. You don't need to be like begging or something like, please, Nick. No, just send it to me. Just send it to me. I tried to contact most of you. I think it was a big group through Teams, but I noticed that nobody is replying on Teams. So it means that maybe you are blocked, log out. I don't know. I really don't know. But the idea is that I send you a message there also through your emails. And again, I haven't gotten like many answers. So I think that the only way we have to communicate to each other is the email in the platform. So check it out. And it is important that you start checking more often because, as I told you, we're about to finish, and it is important that you catch up. Um, so send the link for the video. And today I'm gonna explain the topic first after we watch this video, because we are going to work on relative clauses. And then I'm gonna explain you about the writing forum. Okay, so to begin with, it's here. Right. Okay. Today we're going to work at a topic which is really helpful when we talk about writing. Okay. Oh my God, this is so loud. You scare me, Julian. Wait a second. Yeah. So this topic is about writing in most of the cases. For speaking, it sounds like a little too formal. So it is important that you know that as an introduction for the topic, it's mostly used for writing. Okay. So the title is adjective clause. What is this? Is just an adjective. So you are gonna see. For example, when I have a noun like the man or man, we use an adjective which is a characteristic or feature. For example, tall. Okay, so for example, we can say he is a tall man. All right. So tall is modifying the noun. We are saying that that person has a special characteristic, which is tall, the height. Okay. Uh, and remember that there are rules about using characteristics, which is before the noun or after the noun using the verb to be. For example, my girlfriend is pretty. In that case, you place the characteristic at the end of the sentence. Now here with adjective clause is the same thing, but the difference is that we don't include just one word. We include a whole clause or a whole sentence. Maybe at first it's gonna be a little tricky, a little difficult, but you're gonna understand later on. Remember that if you don't understand, you can always go and check more resources like uh, artificial intelligence, very useful. You can go check Google, you can go check, well, many other browsers that I don't remember right now. So let's get started. Uh, as I was telling you, this one is modifying the meaning of a sentence, right? Basically, I'm going to give you a short explanation, and in that order, you're going to understand what I'm talking about. Is joining sentences. Because when we learn English, I noticed that most of the time we use broken sentences, okay? We are talking about writing. Don't forget that. Keep it in mind. We're talking about writing. So, for example, we say the dog is cute. Then we use period. The dog is fluffy. Period. And again, the dog is at home, period. You see? So what I'm trying to tell you is that once we start making progress in English, it is important that we start like building up bigger and longer sentences. How? Using those adjectival clauses, okay? So for example, we have here, Jabberee caught a gigantic fish. Okay, that's one. Now, how to expand this idea? So, for example, Jabberee caught a fish. That's one. You see, in the first part, we got the action. Then we add something after the comma, which was gigantic. Okay, so here we are including more details about the description of an action of an event. Okay, so instead of making it so short, we can expand and show that we have more vocabulary and more language like master. Okay, so uh, the sentence is modifying the meaning of the first one because Jabberee caught a fish. If we said that, we understand that the person, the man, was fishing and he caught a fish. That's all. But then when we add something extra, like which was gigantic, in our brains, we think that the fish was huge, was very big. Okay. So in the first example, we don't know any features or any characteristics about the action, not the fish, the action. You see? Because we say, yeah, he caught a fish. Could be small, could be huge, could be, I don't know, yummy, could be poisonous. So the idea is that we are including more details, but without breaking into separated sentences, which is something that is happening in the forum. And I have sent you some suggestions to write your final text about the question. Okay. That is the first part. So we open like that. Now we're gonna go through some rules that we have to take into account when making up these kind of sentences. So first of all, that is the most important part, relative pronouns, okay? Because there are sentences, remember that to make up a sentence, you need a pronoun and a verb. It cannot exist without that. Okay, we don't have a sentence without that. Maybe we have some sentences with verbs, but the idea is that we are writing. Okay, when we write, we don't say something like let's go, because that's more speaking. Okay, it's something informal. Yeah, so you follow me? So the idea is that when we write, we have to include structures, because one main reason that we have to keep in mind is that when we write, after we handle what we wrote, the person who's reading, if that person doesn't understand, we are not going to be next to them explaining our ideas. The text itself has to explain what is written there. That's why we have to be pretty detailed, pretty cautious about what is happening, what we are writing, what we want to what our intention is. Sorry. Okay. So, let's check the first rule. Adjective clauses start with a relative pronoun. So, maybe for you this is not familiar, but I'm gonna explain it like this. Do you remember those W-ish questions like what, which, who, where, when, why, how, and so on? So the idea is that right now they are not questions anymore. They don't open questions. They are a complement for expanding the first part of the sentence. It's like connecting two, but the connection has a reason. It's not just like I'm gonna use whatever I want. No, it has a reason, and we are gonna see it over here. So, for example, in the first example, we are talking about a new restaurant. Because a restaurant is not a person, we cannot use who. Can you see? Because it's a place. Well, maybe we can say, ah, of course, we can use where, but more than where, because it's a place, is because the place is the object here. So we use which. But maybe you're thinking about a joker, something that is really useful here. Uh, that, that. Okay. So the new restaurant that just opened last month has already closed down. Okay. So over here, we are checking that the sentence, we are now explaining what kind or what the place is. We are defining the place. We are defining the object. It has a particular characteristic. What is that characteristic? That the restaurant was open last month. Then that thing modifies the meaning of the whole sentence. Because if you say the new restaurant has already closed down, we think that it was a new restaurant and it stopped working. But what is the good information or the new information about this? The new information is that that restaurant, although is new, it was open last month. You see, so I'm trying to give you extra details, more information. If we were just talking randomly in the street, maybe I would say, ah, the restaurant, they closed down. And they will ask me questions like, when did they open? And maybe I will say, it was last month. You see, so when we speak is different. It's completely different than when we are writing. Now, the next one, I took my partner. Now, partner is a person. So we have to use who. It's like in a question. For example, who is the new boss? We are talking about person. Here, we are not asking a question. We are connecting ideas. I took my partner who has never seen snow on a ski trip. Now, check this out. Look at the ball. Who has never seen snow? Uh-huh. And just add this. I took my partner on a ski trip. So when we just talk about these two parts, I took my partner on a ski trip, we don't have any more information. You see, it's like we're missing something. And the idea is to explain more, to give more details. That's why we add the bold part. Who has never seen snow? Now, here for you is easier to identify a characteristic of the situation, not of the person, of the situation. You see, what is the explanation? The explanation is that this trip is so important for that person because it's going to be the first time he or she, sorry, she, I had something over here, he or she sees the snow. Okay, so it's going to be something magical. So far, so good. Well, I know that it's a little complicated, but we are going to do some exercises to understand. Now here, I was telling you about the relative pronouns. You have a list over there, that, which, who, whom, whose. In those last two, there is a joke, or there are many jokes in English about how to explain whom and whose is like you have to have a high level to explain and to understand how to use these ones, but we are going to check that later. Okay, now there is a situation in which you can use whichever, whatever, whenever, wherever, but that is something really odd. It's like non-common, okay? For example, check this out. We will take either a taxi or bus, whichever comes first. Now, here we are explaining again a characteristic of the situation. What is the characteristic? No matter what comes first, we're going to take it. You see? So, although it's a taxi, although it's a bus, we're going to take the first one. That is the explanation. Okay? So, keep in mind that when we use this kind of clause is because we want to give more information about the situation. Check the next one. The movie Annabelle is the reason why I got rid of my doll collection. Here we are connecting with why. Why is also very odd. Sometimes we say that's why or the reason we sometimes we omit it, but yep, you can include it. So the most common ones are that, which, who, whom, and whose. Those are the most common. And for me, I don't know, I'm gonna tell you something that is really crazy, but for me, the most common is that. You're gonna see why. Second rule, I told you, because it is a clause, it needs a subject and a verb. Okay, so it needs like a person, but I'm gonna explain that later. In a verb, well, the action is very easy to understand. For example, we have here, everyone wants colleagues who are dedicated. Now, who here is not a question, is the subject, and are is the verb. Okay, because remember, here we're talking about relative pronouns, and the relative pronoun is who. Okay, so when we combine who are dedicated, we are describing that the person, well, that everyone not only wants colleagues, but also wants dedicated ones. You see, people who are committed. Mm, all right, what else do we have here? Yes, sometimes the relative pronoun can act or work as the noun in the whole sentence. For example, I need a roommate who is not afraid of spiders. Now, in the first one, check this comparison. In the first one, everyone wants colleagues who are dedicated. That who is describing the colleagues, not everyone. In the second one, I need a roommate who is not afraid of spiders is describing the roommate. Okay, and it works as the noun of the sentence, the subject of the sentence. I know it's a little tricky, but yeah. So who is working for people, right? My God, I'm thirsty. That's the second rule. Next. Yeah. Now the the adjective clauses have to be connected to something else. They cannot be independent. Why? Because it's gonna be really odd. If you see a sentence like this one, where they have Wi-Fi, maybe you're gonna be like, what are you talking about? Where is the context? You see? That is gonna that one, the one that says incorrect in red, it's a dependent clause. It needs another part to be understood, to be clear. So that's why the correct way to describe this or to use it is going to be, let's go to a cafe where they have Wi-Fi. Now, when we connect, it makes sense. Okay. Let's go to a cafe because cafe is a place where they have Wi-Fi. Where is working here as the relative pronoun. Okay. So far, number one, they start with a relative pronoun. Number two, they need a subject and a verb. Number three, they have to be connected to something. They cannot be just independent. Number 4. Okay, over here, it says adjective clauses modify nouns. Important because it's an adjective. Remember, as I told you at the very beginning, adjectives modify nouns. For example, he is tall is modifying he, which means they must be related to another noun outside the adjective clause. So, for example, check it out. When the sun was setting, when is talking about time, right? Before the previous sentence, what is the time they're talking about? The only time you can identify is 6 p.m. So here, the when, because it becomes the subject of the second sentence, is related to the back or the rest of the context, which is the time. All right. So she didn't wake from the nap until 6 p.m. when the sun was setting. Remember, it's just to clarify. It's just to clarify and expand our master of English. Whew. Okay. The clause, the adjective clause come after the noun, okay? So, oh, this one. I wanted to check this one because it's so difficult to understand. The rich lady, then we have something in bold, wasn't even home. You see, I am omitting that detail. The rich lady, person with money, wasn't even home. She was not home. Now, whose is related to something that belongs to a person. That whose is not the plural of who. It's talking about hairs. Okay, so whose house we were at. Here, the characteristic is that that house belongs to the rich lady. You see? That's how you use who. Okay. Noun clause. Oh, okay. This one is different from the other one because it's important that you notice that it has like changes. I mean, it's different. Check this one out. Whoever eats the most hot dogs gets the trophy. Here we are just talking about a normal sentence. Check the other one. The winner, whoever eats the most hot dogs gets the trophy. Here we are including more details and we have a relative pronoun, whoever, showing you the characteristic of the person who's gonna get the trophy. That's number 5. Okay. So here, well, just with this example, you are gonna understand easier what I'm talking about. Jovan wanted to see a horror movie that wasn't too scary. He wants to watch a movie, but not just a movie. He wants to watch horror, but not just horror. He wants to watch horror that is not too scary. Can you see? So the idea is that with the description, we are more into detail because in general, why is this useful for you? For example, check it out. You're at an interview. Hey, what kind of movies do you like watching? For example, and you say, I like horror. It feels short. Then, I like horror movies. Still short. I like watching horror movies. Much better. But how about, or what about if you say, I love or I like watching horror movies that aren't too scary? You see? So it's that you expand, is growing, is growing, is growing. So the idea is that you expand more and more. This thing works for speaking when you start describing better and longer what you want. That's why writing is so important because in general people say, I just don't like to write because it takes a lot of time and nobody's going to read it and so on. Writing is very important because sometimes we learn more by writing and then we can use it in real life when we speak. So it's connected. They are production skills. So when you speak, you produce. When you write, you produce. Okay. That's all. Anything else? Yep. We have a practice. Over here, we just have Julian. Julian, how are you doing today?
Hi, teacher. I'm doing well. Thank you.
That's good. Uh, is it rainy wherever you are?
No, it's not raining. It's a little uh 2 minutes day that don't rain here.
That's nice. Okay, now we're going to do this exercise. It's gonna be really easy. You have two sentences separated. Number one, the book is fascinating. Second, I borrow it from the library. Now, your task is to put them together using that in one sentence. What will you do?
Um, the book that I borrowed in in the library was fascinating. Or
Now,
it's right.
it was right till I borrow. You
The
said
book
the book that I borrowed
the book that I borrowed. It's right that is
from
the book that I borrowed in the library at in the
from from
from the library. It
is
is fascinating.
fascinating. Very good. So,
Fascinating.
yeah, it's here. So now check it out. I break the sentence and I include that because that is the characteristic of the book. It's not just a normal book. It's a book you borrow from the library. You see? So
Yes.
that's what I was trying to explain during the whole session, that it's giving more details. It's not just like, oh, the book is fascinating. When you're speaking, you can describe a little more. That book that I borrowed from that library is amazing, is fascinating. So that is the idea, that we expand, that we say more in that order. We are a little more interesting. Do you understand?
Yes, I got it.
Nice. Let's go with number two. Which? The car belongs to my sister. It is parked outside.
The cars that belongs
You have to use
to
which.
the car which belongs to my sister is parked outside.
Kind of. No. Reorder. Reorder. Put the last part included in the sentence.
The car which parked outside belongs to my sister.
Yeah, kind of. Very good. Excellent. Check it out. You missed something.
The car which is parked outside belongs to my sister.
Very good. Excellent. Good job. Now let's go with who. The teacher is very supportive. She helped me with my project.
The teacher who helped me with the project is very supportive,
Very good.
supportive.
Excellent. Excellent. Perfect. Good job. Wow, amazing.
Yes.
Okay, number four. This one, I told you, it's really hard to understand this, to explain this much
Yes.
harder. Whom? The person is my mentor. I spoke to him yesterday.
The person who I spoke yesterday is my mentor.
Very good. Okay, the explanation here is that whom is a little more formal, and it is using very, very old English, but still you can find it in some text or documents. So the right way to use it here in this sentence is gonna be like that. Can you read it, please?
The person to whom I spoke yesterday is my mentor.
Okay, so that whom is when we use uh, a person or a noun as an object of another action. That's why we include this to whom. Okay, So this one is really, really tricky. So whenever you check it out, when you are reading, when you are listening, when you're watching a movie and you see that pronoun, you should stop, pause the movie and read the sentence because it's really, really tricky, but it's really interesting. Good job.
But
Yes.
can I interpret that like who or is different?
No, it's the same. It's like who I spoke yesterday is my mentor.
Okay, but change the structure of I write that, but right.
Because you said the person who I spoke yesterday is my mentor, which is completely good. I mean, like people understand you. But the thing is that in the example, you see that to the preposition to him.
Yes.
When you omit it, it's like you eliminated a word from the exercise. So that's why we have to include to whom because of that preposition, that to, because it's an object.
Uh, got it. So to whom always always is with who, to whom,
Yep.
or is
It's
oh
possible. It's possible to find sometime to find examples without to, but in general, it's like that. To whom? Mhm.
oh okay.
In general, but
Thank you.
I told you it's more. It's something more. Books, literature. It's more like when we are reading because it's kind of poetic, but it's still like people use it. You know what I mean? It's not so common.
Yes,
Hmm.
yes,
Very good.
I see.
Let's not talk about speaking. In general, when you use whom is because you're a doctor or very formal or a person who has a high level of culture.
It is normal that one person in daily say that.
Yeah, yeah, it's very weird. And still it sounds really odd.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah, yeah. And the last one, the other one, whose the artist is very talented. His paintings are displayed in the gallery.
The artists whose whose are no the artists whose painting uh, the gallery is very talented. Now
Mm.
I miss so many words.
No,
The
it's good. It's good. It's here. Look, the artist whose
uh,
paintings.
uh, the artists whose paintings are displayed in the galleries very talented. Ta-
Talented. Very good. Yep. Yeah, very good. Now, here, the whose is because the paintings belong to the artist. You see? It's
oh
very
yes,
complicated. It's very difficult, but yeah, still, I mean, like they exist. That whom and whose they exist, like this one, they exist and they use them. But here, I think that there is no way to modify this. But yeah, basically, that's their adjective clauses or relative pronouns and so on. With practice, you're gonna understand this better. Maybe doing the ebook, our ebook, you can
yes,
understand a little better because it has a more explanation, some other exercises. But basically, this was just like uh, just an overview. No, just more like a review of what adjective clauses are. It's a little tricky, but it's useful when we are writing.
yes,
Mhm. Very good. And so, the conclusion: adjective clauses, also known as relative clauses, are a type of dependent clause. So important. They depend on something. They cannot go alone. The describes or modifies nouns, for example, the paintings, the car, the teacher, the tutor. You see, they are modifying something. Da, 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 da. Like all clauses, adjective clauses contain a subject and a verb. Don't forget that we have to have a subject and a verb. And you can identify them because of relative pronouns like that, which, or who. There are just three examples, but we have whoever, whose, whom, why, and so many other examples. And this is the second conclusion. So why do we need to use these adjective clauses? Because they are useful when explaining. This is what I told you. This is very important. This is the end of the class. They explain specific qualities of a noun. They describe, they give more information about something. For example, if you say a movie, that noun is too general and could mean anything. If you say a movie that is not too long, the adjective clause that is not too long makes it more specific so you can communicate better. Okay?
Makes more sense to the sentence when you
Exactly.
add that adjective.
Yeah, very good. And also keep in mind that, for example, when we are at an interview, I always use the same example. They ask questions like, for example, what do you like doing in your free time? People just go with simple things. I like movies. You see, that's what I was telling before. Why not expanding and explaining things a little more in detail? What kind of movies do you like? Do you like horror movies that are long, or do you like short horror movies, or do you like, I don't know, it's describing, because even in Spanish we have longer descriptions of movies. For example, Halloween, let's watch a movie. Yeah, right, let's watch a horror movie. Okay, let's watch, I don't know, Nightmare on Elm Street. I don't like the slashers. I don't like slashers. How about thrillers? No, I think thrillers are boring. You see, because in general we take like just one word, like movies, and we think it is whatever and people are gonna understand. But for example, you are not into slashers or into thrillers, but maybe you are into gore horror movies, so that's the idea, that we specify, add more information, because it helps us, it helps communication with people.
Got it. It's like to give more information that can the people understand my opinion or what I want to, in this case, watch.
Exactly. Watch, do, even when you're describing a person, for example, uh, do you remember that person who was wearing a red jacket yesterday? Yes, I remember. What happened to that person, to that guy? Oh, I talked to him yesterday. I ran into him and we were talking about this and that. So now, as a reference, the person knows that you are talking particularly about a person who was wearing red. If you say
Yeah.
like, do you remember the person we met yesterday? Maybe the other person is going to say, I really don't remember. You see? So the idea is that we try to describe more, like go on, keep on, because in general, we just give short sentences. The idea is to expand, make it bigger, longer, speak more, 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 and more. And that's all. It's going to improve our language a lot.
Yes. And when you are writing, it's more useful because you don't have the time to explain the or people that the things that you want to say to them.
Yeah, you're
And
right.
yes, it's a good topic.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We need more practice. Of course, 1 hour is not enough, but yeah, this is just like the beginning because you have to go deeper, and you're gonna see more
Um,
things. Mm.
practice and practice.
Yeah, yeah, practice a lot. But yeah, good, good, good. Yeah, Julian. So I think that's all. Thank you very much for being here, the explanation on relative clauses. Now I want to explain, to use the last 10 minutes to explain something about forum, because I see that a lot of students are completely clueless about what they have to do. So let me stop sharing and let me share my screen. Okay. Da-da-da. What happened here? Okay, good. So here, I want to show you. Yes, this one. For all of you, let me explain you this to you. Remember that right now we are doing the almost the last one. Is task 5, writing forum. We click over here, okay? Remember that we have the description. We click over here. What do we have to do? Pay attention. Number 1, infographic. Okay, here, infographic. This one, let me show you in the forum. Let me check. Yeah, let's go here. So here you have the introduction, the description, and so on. The idea is that last week you had to post the infographic, okay? Which I suppose is this one. Let me see. Yeah, this is the infographic, okay? What do you have to do? You have to answer the 5 questions, okay? What are the 5 questions? The 5 questions are, where is it? Here. The 5 questions are here. Have you ever spread fake news? Yes, I have. I remember. Blah, blah. No, I haven't because it is important to blah, blah. Mention which you consider the most useful way to spot fake news according to the video. The most useful way to blah, blah, blah. This one, this one, this one. You have to post something like this, or you can create your own graphic. That is number 1. That was last week. Okay? So now, go away. Okay, here. Now, second one. What is the second step? The second step is that here. You have to use the connectors and give your opinion about this. Some people prefer blah 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 blah. What are you gonna do? You're gonna write 4 to 5 paragraphs. Introduction, body, and conclusion using connectors. Let's see for you to understand. So for example, let me see. I think it's here. Let me see if it's here. I don't remember. I open it again. Yes, it's here. So pay attention. She included a title and then paragraph number 1, introduction, paragraph number 2 and number 3, body, paragraph number 4, I suppose it's also body, and paragraph number 5, which is the conclusion. Okay, that is the second one. This one should be this week. Right now, you should be posting in the forum this short essay. Okay, so that is the second one. I'm gonna comment on you. This is about the infographic. This is my comments about the essay. And finally, because he has a final step here, write a fake news sharing the forum or opinion structure for to file. So the idea is that you have to finally write a piece of fake news. For example, in the case of the student, let me show you. It was something about Venezuela, Colombia, Maduro. So, oh, sorry. Yeah, it was here. My God, I keep on closing it. Here. The inauguration of the new president of Venezuela generates an increase in the price of the dollar in Colombia. That's fake news. So what do I have to do? I have to give my opinion on this one. So Monica, yeah, it's Monica. Monica Hernandez, she finished. She's done. Okay. But the idea is that she reads these comments, and also that is the 4 part. If she has some something to modify, she can write it again, post it again in the forum. The final part, which is 4, is that Monica has to read, she has to read what Nini wrote over here. Her infographic, maybe her fake news, maybe her whole essay. And Monica has to comment on the writings. Same thing that I did over here with the fake news, with her text, with her infographic. She has to do the same. And it goes for all students in the group. You have to read and just write something. Great job. I like this information because it helps me a lot. I agree with you. I disagree with you. Sometimes we have to go to really important or good sources to find information. We cannot believe or trust everything they give us on TV, on socials, on the radio, newspapers, and so on. The idea is that you comment on what people are posting. Let's think this forum is like Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. So the idea is that you read and comment something. That's why here, check it out. I'm going to show you an example here. This is the fake news about Venezuela that because of the president, something like that. So what do? I write a tweet because I like Twitter. Right now it's X. So I strongly disagree with the idea that the new president of Venezuela's inauguration should cause the dollar price to rise in Colombia. This oversimplifies complex economic factors. Let's not let fear dictate our understanding. Currency values depend on many variables. Focus on informed discussions. Hashtag economy, hashtag Venezuela, hashtag Colombia. You see? So the idea is that we participate at least 3 times. If you want to keep participating, just go ahead. So to sum up, number 1, infographic, done, check, bling. Number 2, the essay, this week, check, bling. Number 3, fake news, next week, ring. Comment on at least 3 participations of your classmates next week too. Ring! Remember that the end of the activity is on the 24th, if I'm not wrong. Let me check. Here. On the 24th. Yeah, here. January the 24th. It doesn't mean that you participate on January the 24th. No, 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 no. The last day that you can participate is gonna be January the 21st. Why? Because I'm gonna have 3 days to check all your exercises. Okay, so maximum January the 22nd, maximum, but that's too late. And the idea is not that you do it at once, quickly. No, it's easier for me to check last week, infographic, this week, essay, next week, fake news, and check that fake news is something really short. It's not something that has to be really long or a whole text, okay? So important, keep in mind that we are doing activity number 5. We are just going to the final test, and that's the end. That's gonna be the end of our class. Remember, as I open the class for you, keep in mind, diagnostic test. You haven't done it? Send me an email. Listening test. You haven't done it? Send me an email. Video speaking. Send me the link for the video. Reading test. You haven't done it? Send me an email. Number 5, forum. We're doing it. 4 important things. Infographic, essay, fake news, participating, commenting on your classmates. Last one, final exam. Keep it in mind. If you have any questions, if you want to ask me something you didn't understand, remember that tomorrow I post this video for you to check. Oh, I forgot to tell you, we still have one session when it's time to talk, because last Tuesday we didn't have the chance because I didn't have electricity, so impossible. So we have to plan a new time. I'm gonna send you an email tomorrow setting the new time for that session. That's all, folks. Thank you very much for being here. Have a fantastic night. It was a pleasure. Bye-bye, Julian. Thank you for being here.
Uh, Teacher, I have a question for
Tell
the
me.
uh, we have to do only one fake news, but right?
Yep.
Because the infographic have the last is the only fake news we have to do, right?
Yeah. Thank you for your question. Yeah, it has a section that says make a fake news, blah, 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 blah. The idea is that the same thing that we do there in the infographic, we post it next week. It's going to be the same. I think I have some examples here. I would like to share it. Thank you very much. That's a very good question. Let me see. I think it was 11. Oh my God, not yet. Let me see. 11, 11. Where is it? Here. Okay. So here you're gonna see that, for example, here, this student, he wrote about a deadly moral virus spreads across major cities globally. That was in the infographic. Was this one? Carlos. Carlos. This is his essay. Yep. And Carlos, this one. Carlos posted again the same thing. The virus in China spreading globally and so on. So the same thing that you did here, number 5, is gonna be the same thing that you're gonna post on the third week.
Oh, I see.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes,
And it's for all of you. Yeah, because today I was checking, I don't remember her name. It was a student and she made up 2 different fake news. So it's better and it's easier if you just post one. It don't get it so complicated for yourselves.
yes, I got it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
No, thank
Goodbye.
you. Yes. Ah, bye. Ah, okay. I thought you said
Yes,
but.
no, it's bye. Yeah,
Okay, Julian.
the
Thank you very
class
much.
is bye bye.
Okay, bye-bye. See you. See you. Bye-bye. See you next Tuesday. All right. Thank you very much for being here. Have a great night. Bye-bye.